Okay, good morning, and thank you for showing up, everybody. It's Saturday, May 16th, 2015, and this is this edition of Saturday Morning Mastermind. And today's discussion is all about how to overcome resistance and cultivate enthusiastic participation. My name is Jason Roberts, and it's a great honor to be here as your guest host today. Our illustrious leader, Samantha Studebaker-Carl, is on a mission from the universe today, so she's not going to be here today, and we all miss her. We hope she's having a wonderful afternoon. So we've been coming here together each Saturday to discuss personal developments and personal development and success principles that will help us in our personal journeys. And today we're discussing the last chapter of Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age. And this last chapter is entitled How to Lead Change Without Resistance or Resentment. So with that, I also want to let everyone know that we are going to be taking a short break for 2 weeks, coming back on the 6th of June to discuss our new book. And that is, our new book's going to be What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. We'll post a link where you can purchase this on Amazon here during the Hangout, and you can also get that link from our event page. So with that, let's get started. But first, I would like to invite all of our panelists to go ahead and introduce themselves before we get started. So, who would like to start?
Well, I guess I can get started. Good morning, everybody. This is Christina Irvin. I'm in beautiful Northeast Tennessee, and I'd just like to welcome you all to the conversation this morning. Looking forward to it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dan Smith, come from Boise, Idaho, and rainy day today, so probably spend some time on the computer today. But welcome, everybody, to the call.
Good morning, everybody. This is Danielle DeLyons out in Anaheim, California. I think we've been sending you a little bit of our rain, Dan, and we're getting a little bit of sun today and gearing up for another downpour this coming Monday. And so the song that says it never rains in Southern California, I don't know if that applies anymore. Good morning, everybody.
Hello, everyone. This is Catherine Clement, and I'm here in Boulder, Colorado, and it's a beautiful day today, and we've been getting a lot of rain, too, and I think the higher elevations got some snow last night even, but we're thankful for every drop of it, and it's going to help prevent a lot of fires out here, so hope we get some more. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Good morning, Sandy Root here. Sorry I was a little bit late, but it is another sunny, beautiful, oh, I got dark all of a sudden. I have to fix my lighting. Sorry. But it is another sunny, beautiful, warm day in Miami, but a cloud just came and made it dark in here. So looking forward to the discussion, as usual.
Good morning, everyone. Donna Allen here, Raleigh, North Carolina. A beautiful sunshine day. Looking forward to the discussion.
Okay, I think that's everyone. And now today's chapter was all about finding the common ground with people in order to lead them and help them to perform and do what is asked without resistance. Is there anyone out there that has a good example of finding common ground that they've experienced recently?
Well, I think in any situation, all throughout life we've had this situation. I mean, it starts when you're a kid, right, with your parents and the negotiations with your parents. But um, when you're in business or when you're working with a group of people, it's even more important because you're going to have all these different personalities, right? And some common thing that I'm always saying, no matter what, is lower the resistance, right? So when you are really in a high intense situation, I know like the first story in the chapter was talking about uh, employees and employers being on strike and how they had them write down the goals for the company on a piece of paper and then had them swap rooms, and they were shocked to realize that most of the things they agreed on. It's the same thing in anything, any part of life. In general, it comes down to everybody. A lot of times you want the same end, but you have a different path to get to that end, right? So the more that you go ahead and establish up front, hey, we have the same goal to reach, that starts to lower the resistance. And then also giving the other party the opportunity to voice themselves, be heard, and feel like they have a valid place in the discussion also lowers resistance. And it helps you get to that end.
Something I took from reading this chapter, for a long time I think that companies just made their own decisions and they didn't open their minds to listening. And that, like there's a couple stories in here where the company couldn't understand why their turnover ratio was so high, and yet when they took a different approach, they assumed it was the poor pay, and it actually wasn't. And as soon as they started asking questions of the employees, where their problems were at and where their dreams were at, the turnaround was so big. And I know we'll go into this deeper, but when you know what causes people to behave a certain way, it's much easier to get rid of the resistance and get them on the path that maybe you already have an idea set in concrete that you want, but when you know and you incorporate it into your language, it changes everything as well.
Where we go here?
There, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to read a little bit of this chapter here. It says, why is common ground so important? For the leader to effectively influence another's attitude or behavior, he needs to overcome any potential resistance by making the person feel glad to do what is being asked. We aren't talking about manipulation or mind control here. If you consider what the other person's goals are and how to connect your goals to theirs, you will create a win-win situation that will make everybody glad. And for years I had just a totally wrong misconception of what sales actually is, or when you're trying to find that common ground, that you both can agree on. And the only real example that I had of what sales was to kind of like the Herb the used car salesman type of a situation where you just overcome all resistance by your sheer enthusiasm that this is the greatest thing in the world, but really what I've been discovering and the path of discovery, I should probably say, is that it's not a one-size-fits-all type of a situation where I know this product's going to meet your need and this is how we're going to make it meet your need, but it's finding out what that person wants or needs and then tailoring what you have to fit that person's needs, and maybe I'm not communicating it all that great, but it's really it's not seeking to be interesting to that person. It's to be interested in that person and what are your needs and how can we meet your needs here. Let's explore this type of a situation. And that was a real, I guess, a breakthrough or opened my eyes. I'm not sure how to put it, but I know that Danielle, she's so spot on. I mean, every week, and different things that she shares, that she really knows how to relate to people. And I'm kind of a caveman type of a mentality. I was kind of club them in the head type of a type of a person, and it's been a real learning experience for me. To not be that like a pushy salesman. It's along the same lines of, we've talked about this before, link spamming, and here's my link, click on my link. I only need 10 people to join my business. Click my link, click my link, click my link, and it's just pounding them with with your link, and that doesn't work. It scares people off, and everybody runs away from that. Instead, it's wow, what kind of needs do you have, and tell me, what are your goals, what do you want out of life, and how can I help you to get them? So I'll turn it over to somebody else.
I think I've seen in my short life people, everything's changed. The way we parent, the way we do business. We've really, as a human race, we're growing, and I hope we continue to grow. But I think we're really looking at how we treat each other much more now than how we used to. I mean, parenting used to be the same way as just it's my way or the highway kind of thing. And now, watching my grandchildren be raised, they're being raised much differently. I mean, they still get a whop on the butt once in a while or something, but all in all, it's a whole different parenting style, and I would see the same thing in business and online business. It's no different than everybody thinks it's so different, and certainly there's different skills involved. I mean, you got to learn how to do all this social media stuff, or at least do one technique. That's all you really have to know is one technique, and just do that one well. But it's still talking to people. It's still connecting with people, finding that common ground. That's why in some of the network marketing businesses, like moms, work-at-home moms, stay-at-home moms, they have kids. They do so well in these businesses because they can really relate to each other at the challenges that they go through on a daily basis, and when they talk about those things and share those things, you don't necessarily want to put all your dirty laundry out there on the internet. You may, and that's up to you, but you don't have to. But you do need to be real. You need to be approachable. You need to be a human being. You can't just, you have to hold your visions, and you have to, not fake it till you make it, but I mean, you have to stay focused and hold those feelings and visions in your heart. But at the same time, all of us have challenges every day, and if you just pretend like everything in your life is perfect, that's intimidating to people. People feel like, oh my gosh, her life is so perfect, his life is so perfect, they don't have any of the challenges that I do, and then they can't relate. So it's the sharing of the challenges sometimes. Not that that's all you want to do, of course, but it's the sharing. Be approachable. One of the things that put me off of some of these leaders, and I understand, God bless you, you're busy, things get way out of control and you get busy, but there are leaders that get very unapproachable, I'll just put it that way, and you wouldn't dare even consider taking a moment of their time because of the way, or I wouldn't, they just feel like they're so far away and so far advanced that you don't think that they could bother with you. But one of the really cool stories in this book, if you haven't read it, it's a really great book, is that he wrote to people that he thought were unapproachable, just wrote them a letter, and some of them responded. And so, I think that's huge. It says a lot about a leader, how much you're willing to pick up the phone when people call.
But there was a couple of good points, and me, true to form, I forgot. But something that I thought was really, that I can't remember, I want to say, Catherine, you made me think about, but somebody did, is that your intention or your attitude going into the negotiation is important, because you have to be open and willing to receive too. Compromise means that's just it. Everybody's got to get a little, and everybody's going to lose a little, right? And if you're unwilling to be open to hear someone else's stance, and unwilling to be open to receive something different, and unwilling to not receive 100% of what you want, then really you're not going to be able to compromise. A, and B, that also speaks volumes about really how you are, your intentions, your ability to play team.
Were you going to say something, Jason?
Well, just that those are all great points, and that our ability to communicate with others through as a leader. I think like Christina was saying, what that the idea that brought up within me is that we do need. I mean, I grew up thinking as being a leader meant taking care of everything, doing all the jobs and really not having to rely on anyone. And what I'm understanding more and more is it's being a leader is about delegating those tasks that might take up your time and keep you away from the people that you're leading. Because of like what Christina and you all are discussing, what we're discussing is being a part of our employees' lives, being friends with the people we're supposed to lead, to understand them, to understand what their goals and their visions and the outcomes that they want out of what they're doing, so that we can bring everything into alignment and show them how what the company wants and how what we as a leader wants is going to give them what they want in the long run. It's kind of the idea. So that's it, Daniel. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Yes, and I wanted to kind of piggyback on what Catherine had said. She said some really key things about how moms and women do well in the industry. Women make up 82% of the networking industry. The reason for that is because we do find the common ground. So that theory of 6 degrees of separation, I like how it mentioned Kevin Bacon in here, and it can relatively be 1% of separation in our today's world because of modern technology. And if you guys haven't watched, look up TED Talks and look up Kevin Bacon. And there's some good stuff in there. Just a little sidebar there. But yeah, I agree with that. So that so resonates because in today's world, we're finding more efficient ways to quickly feed our own needs, and that much more so if we're a leader, especially the form of kind of what we do on these discussions. Many of us are in network marketing or we own businesses and things. The better we understand that concept of winning people, but doing it in an effective way. There was one comment in here that when we're doing that, we have to be genuine and positive. And if you're not, in today's world, it's not the same where people are desperately looking at you for a job or employment. There's something else out there. It's getting harder, but it's a different time frame of where people are at. There's a million different things they can do. The opportunities are so vast. They're not locked into working for a hard-nosed boss or things like that in our today's world.
You make some great points. I like what you were saying, Danielle, about finding that common ground, and that when we find that, it's like you said with the social media and the way we're able to connect with people all over the world now, it's really easy to communicate with people and find that 1 degree of separation sometimes. And so it's really amazing because you really can connect with people in different ways all over the world just by really caring and finding out where they're at in their life, or what they're looking for, or what problems they need solved in their life or business that you're offering a solution for. And you know what? You were talking about stuff like this, Catherine, about the sharing the stories, and I find that I've always connected with those leaders who share where they came from, and they're really humble, and they, you know, there's just this humanity about them. They're not like acting like something special. They'll go up to somebody who, you know, quote unquote, the janitor guy, and be, you know, like buddy with, you know, like never looking down on anybody for any task that they're doing, because we're all here doing the thing equal. Every task is equal in the end. So that humility is something that I can really connect to in leaders, and I think that's really important to help people connect to the leader. And the people that are following, quote unquote, are able to connect easier when there's that level of humility and humanness and realness, and able to share their story, because of course none of us came out perfect, and we've all had our roller coaster rides through life. So when we share it, we can connect easier, knowing that, you know, there is no perfect person out there. So
Great points, Sandy. I mean, I think we could all think of situations where we thought someone was a total jerk, and then we learn about their background, and we learn how they came from such harsh, just unloving situations or something like that, and they managed to come through it, and you realize, oh my gosh, that person's probably just got defenses up because of what they've been through or something like that. And then you can kind of help each other forward, because guess what? You begin to give them grace, and then they begin to not see you as threatening, know, like, and trust, and then you know, you can kind of move forward with the relationship. I think that's an awesome point you made.
Great points, everybody there. I had a thought process going back to the beginning of the discussion here when you said our parents is our first mentors. That is so very true. That's where it all begins. We realize there's a lot of moms. Now, some of us, you know, if you take statistics, there would probably be, I don't know how many there would be single moms, divorced. I had no children, but still, I understand the principle going back to what I can't remember who said it there, but the janitor, the whatever. I've been a little of everything. It's took me 56 years to learn how to be a leader. Somebody says, are you born a leader? I don't particularly think so, because you got to go through all of this, coming from the background of a farm girl, working on the farms, you know, doing a little this, a little that. My father had me up there driving a tractor, you know, keeping it between the. So therefore, I've been taught. I've had to learn how to learn all my life, you know, the just everything you learn from childhood is what's brought you to like where you are today. Okay, now driving today, the destination last night on the bus, there was this lady. She had the key point is I was connecting the dot. It's common ground. Sometimes traveling people, you know, come to the airport, and I'm sure some of you got on shuttle buses before. These folks are totally lost. They don't have no clue. You know, they don't read the signs. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But our role is not just a shuttle bus driver. Our role is customer service. Get that person to their destination. That's the common ground. It's getting back to the simple basics of just being a service to, like I said, find that common ground. What do you need? Where do you fit in at? Okay.
Yeah, that's great, Donna. And sometimes I think that we can we can lose each other's ideas in the way that we're communicating. You know, we all have a different angle at looking at things, and I don't know if you've ever experienced it when you're having a conversation with someone and you start almost getting into a debate over it, and then at the end of it all, you realize, well, we were really, you know, talking about the same things. We really wanted the same things. We were just kind of looking at it differently. And so if we realize that that's always a possibility, and that by connecting and getting to know each other's interests and what outcome we're looking for, we not only understand each other a little better and bring up new points of interest that we could enjoy about each other, but we also uh, make a great step towards collaborating in a more effective manner. So I think all these ideas are really terrific.
You know, something that really this reminds me of is, look, everybody's not going to be kumbaya and BFFs, right? It's just not realistic. Nor do you want to be. But there's a few elements that I think is really important. And the point that Sandy made about having a humanness and an openness is really important. I think also, like I said, coming to the conversation with a willingness to really truly compromise and negotiate is really important. Negotiation brings me to another point. The more you get out the common goals, or the more you get out in the discussion what the main concerns are, the more you have as tools to literally negotiate with. You know, if I realize that what your end is, and my end is the same thing, but you feel like there's a little bit, maybe a little bit better compensation is something that you can work with. Well, as an employee, maybe I can't really come up off the compensation because I've got payroll to meet, but maybe I can adjust in later in the third or fourth quarter an employee appreciation day, because everybody feels the need to be appreciated, right? So knowing what that person needs to feel whole and complete is also a really good place to come with your negotiation and motivation. And guess what? It makes a person feel like, oh, I got skin in the game. I'm going to work harder for this.
Yeah, that's very good. If you can pinpoint what it is that is most important in the negotiations with whoever it is that you're negotiating with, then you can address those, both the benefits and where is the resistance coming from right away. That's excellent, Christina. Appreciate that.
I think one more thing I wanted to throw out just really quickly too, because I think it fits in this part of the conversation, if you don't mind, is how you present it. All right. So, like for me, a lot of times I like to ask the questions to get the other person thinking about things. Just ask the question. You don't have to agree with me. We're not talking about agreement here. I'm just asking the question because that way it gives you some insight in really how I'm thinking. And that's going to get your mind rolling to really realize what you sound like when you're responding to. And it takes the sting off of things because it's not so pointing the finger and saying you, which puts people on the defensive. And I'm also learning to really just speak about me and my experience and my perception, my feelings, in a way that maybe a person can relate to, because then that again takes away the whole blame thing. I'm just talking about me. I'm not preaching at you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to jump out. Here's another portion of this book. It says, do you know what motivates the people around you? It says there are simple ways to find out, and once you have this information, it is a simple process to link your desired outcome to their goals. And then it gives a list of 5 things. It says, be sincere. Do not promise anything that you cannot deliver. Be empathetic. Ask yourself what it is that the other person really wants. Consider the benefits the person will receive from doing what you suggest. Match those benefits to the other person's wants. And when you make your request, put it in a form that will convey to the other person the idea that he or she personally will benefit from what you're suggesting. So the more that you know about others and the more that they know about you, the easier it is for you to find common ground on which to base all future creativity and collaboration. And you know, one of the points that Napoleon Hill talks about is just having a pleasing personality. I think, Christina, that goes along with what you're talking about. Just be a pleasant person, you know, you know, not being up in somebody's face or whatever, you know, but just being what would be a genuinely pleasant person to associate with. So I'll turn it over to somebody else for discussion.
Wanted to bounce off that, Dan, because also the other part of that paragraph talked about Richard Branson, and he is outstanding around the world as one of the most likable employers on the planet, and an excellent leader. And it's the concepts and ways of which they run Virgin, and then you have Mind Valley. They're all kind of intertwined with one another. And how he was saying that how if companies are not, especially right now with Facebook and blogging and Twitter, and the companies that are growing well, they're communicating well through social media, just like we're doing here today, and it's made the hugest difference in their marketing efforts. So you know, once you've determined what people really want to hear and see, like, for example, my personal walls and things are very positive and uplifting. I know I'm on the right track with people in life because of the responses I get from people all the time. And so I stay on that format all the time because that seems to be what resonates with other people. So it can go in any part of our life. And so if you're on here today and you feel like maybe I'm not getting people a certain way, this applies to us on a personal level. This is why we have these discussions. What can I adjust? What would need, and if you don't know, go out and observe others, like the young lady that was very shy and wrote letters to different leaders. She wanted to learn about them and the response that came back to her. So find forums like these calls, or go on different pages and see what's going on out there in the world that will help you personally.
Yeah, a good point there, Danielle. Too, I want to kind of continue what I was trying to say earlier. Communication is everybody does communicate in different ways. Like for me, and for someone that may be watching this, just use the example maybe that you hear other people say. Um, some of us have challenges, but that does not mean that we're not less effective. It's again, it's going back to common ground. If someone asks, if you meet someone online, because I run into this issue sometimes, it's not a problem, but it becomes a problem when the person kind of gets stuck in the conversation. When they first ask me, "Do you have children?" Of course, my response is, I can't lie. No, I don't have children. Well, it's like they don't know how to communicate with me because they're a mother, and then I have to come back and say, okay, let's come back to this common ground. Uh, why are you uncomfortable because I don't have children? You know, that's let's talk about why I don't have children. Maybe there was a reason I don't have children. There you go. It's going back to let's start the conversation over. Let's both come to common ground here and get comfortable here. I'm not selling you anything, and I'm to the point now, and like I said again, it took me a long time. You don't have to ask permission to be a leader. You learn how to be a leader through all the challenges, through everything you go through. So you come to a point where it doesn't matter to me because this is you choose who you want to work with in network marketing. No, I'm not full-time, and I'm part-time. I used to be full-time offline doing this direct sales stuff, but this stuff gets real challenging, and what you need to do is just find out it in yourself that, hey, it doesn't matter if you join my deal or not. It doesn't really matter because there's plenty of people. What you have to do is just do your research and just know what's comfortable for you. Sometimes people just want to be a customer. That's all. And most time they just really want to be a friend. So again, to you folks out there who's talking to the ladies that don't have children, it's okay to talk to us. We're approachable. I'll leave that with you today.
Donna, I tell you what, girl, you just doing it with the good things. Good, you got me thinking. You said two things that really made me think. Number one is expectations. I am learning just how important it is not to have expectations, because that could be a negative in so many ways. But just most important is having that expectation means that puts you already in a position where you're likely to have higher defenses, and you're likely to kind of be stressed out and tense and force things rather than let them just come fluidly. Also, since we are talking about how to win friends and influence people in the digital age, how can you do it when you're online? How can you start the negotiation, have the openness, create the environment that welcomes people in when you're online? I think this is something that I would like to hear from the panel. I know for me, I'm thinking one way is to make sure that your profile is cleaned up. Make sure that it's opened up. You know, if you have a profile that's all private, you know, and I come to your page, maybe you have a cover picture that looks inviting. Maybe you have a profile picture that looks inviting, but I can't see anything about you, so there's no way that I can understand. You know, I can't understand what what your purpose is to be online, what your hobbies are, what pages you kind of like, anything about you. Then it's hard for me to find some way to connect with you and get on common ground. So maybe I don't have children, like Donna was saying, but maybe you enjoy taking, you know, maybe you enjoy horseback riding, and I do too, and we can connect on that level. So when it comes to social media, having your profile actually open so that the public can see it, and having it filled out completely and thoroughly with hobbies and things you're interested in and your goals, all that kind of stuff, links to your blog pages and things like that, helps people have a point of connection with you.
I'll piggyback on that one too. And I've probably talked about this so much that if you're new to the call, write down this form: family, occupation, recreation, motivation. If you stick to those 4 topics, okay, so I don't have children, you don't have children. What kind of work do you do? How long have you worked there? Do you love what you do? What do you do with your spare time? What things excite you? What are you interested in? Do you like to travel? What kind of hobbies do you have? What motivates you in life? What really charges your battery, so to speak? And in those 4 questions, I have yet, in all of the years I've been talking to people with those 4 areas, I have yet to not be able to have a conversation with every single person I've ever talked to. If they're just not open, they're just not open. Next. I mean, we have those too. But every single time, you will find that one area you will have something in common. Even if it's like, well, where do you live? Oh, you know what? I have a friend or somebody that lives there. I've visited here. I've done this here. Oh, okay. Well, I've been there too. It can be something so tiny that doesn't seem to be very much, but that little tiny piece will make them bond to you very, very quickly. People stop short of going through that so many times. A lot of them are nervous, or they feel like they're digging too deep in somebody else's life, and it comes back to how you approach it as well. The more you're open and they can see, like a lot of people say to me, I get a lot of comments because I put up a lot of flowers. I love flowers, and so a lot of my quotes, a lot of the things I do are around flowers. It's amazing how many people I have connected through with a common ground. When I meet somebody new and I find something that I know specifically about them, I may send them pictures or things, because we can do all that now, that's of interest to them, and then they're like, oh wow, she was paying attention to me. She found something that is a passion for me or something I really enjoy. I have several friends that love flowers. I send them a picture every single morning with a beautiful picture of some type of flower with a good morning. And I've been friends with them for a really long time. And I have a list of them every day that I do this with. And it's amazing how that connection, as a result of doing that, it comes into another area because they know, like, and trust you now because you've taken the time to genuinely show them that you do care about them. They bring business to me. They bring other relations in. They say, oh, you've got to meet my friend so-and-so. I told them all about you, and I want you guys to meet. It just brings it in a very natural and relaxed way.
Danielle's the queen at it. I swear, you're the queen at it. I'm telling you. Like, relating, you're just the queen of it.
Yeah, Danielle, you do a really great job at putting out that content, and I think what you're just describing there is for everyone just to be themselves and put out the content that is they find beneficial to themselves and they think that can be beneficial to others, and you'll start attracting to you those who have goals and a purpose in life that's in line with yours. And when I think of it that way, it makes it so much easier than my old way of thinking, where I'm having to figure out how to entice or coax people to do something that they might not be, where I don't even know if it might be something that they would be interested in, or have an idea of something that they are interested in that it might help out, and vice versa. So, very, very terrific thoughts and opinions out there. I wanted to do a quick shout out to everyone that is watching and participating, and appreciate your comments out there. BG Jenkins, thanks for attending, and Christopher Camp, and also Julia Cologne, and Karen Lohoff. Thank you guys for attending, and we appreciate your comments as well. Was there anything any other people wanted to have a few comments out here? Catherine, did you have something you wanted to say, or was it?
Well, this seems like such a simple topic, and it is, finding common ground. But don't underestimate the power of this. I mean, truly think about it. If we can each master this skill of finding common ground with people, if every one of us did that, we could have world peace in the next hour. Literally, think about the reach of what we're talking about right now, way beyond business. Finding common ground. We all, as human beings, we all have very basic and common needs and wants, and if we all even just got a post going on the internet about, like they did in the book, where they did the companies that were in strike, and they both listed their goals and what they wanted, and then when they compared them, they found out that they were the same. We could do that worldwide right now with a post, where we all just share our common ground, and you would see if people from every country responded, you would see that we're all just alike. So it may be like a simple topic, but holy smokes, this is huge. And it takes each one of us doing it. That's how peace comes about. It's like with leaders, you're not, yeah, you want to be a leader because you want to help people, but what a leader does is they help other people be leaders. They don't just say follow me or walk this way. They say take my hand and let me show you how how to do this, and then you develop leaders underneath you, and that way everybody's reaching their full potential, everybody's bringing all their skills to the table, everybody's growing as a person, we're growing as a population, as a humanity. So gosh, if we could all just stop the separation, just stop thinking that we're so different from everybody else, because we're really not. And we're all just human. We're all just out here trying to do our thing and trying to make a better world for for children or other people's children or whoever, all the puppies and kittens and horses, and we we can do that by empowering them, and that's what being a leader is about.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That was going to be my little closing comment. Um, a lot of times people ask, someone asked earlier about delegating responsibilities and everything as a leader, and I know Dan put something on the event page about rising to leadership. For me, I like rising to leadership. I love that phrase, Dan. I think it's awesome. I think we've got to, as a leader, I think it's important to empower people to do that. I like to empower people and sort of motivate and inspire people, let them know that it's okay for them to rise to their leadership level, whatever that might be, instead of delegating so much. Now, if I've got to delegate, I've got to delegate, right? That's a understanding who you're working with on your team and what their strengths are and being able to put them in that position, because sometimes they're not quite sure how to put themselves there. That's an important thing. But I also think that it's a great quality for a leader to empower the people that they're working with. And when you empower them, you inspire them, you motivate them, you encourage them, they'll rise to that leadership for themselves because they like that feeling. They also love the fact that the leader has confidence in them. That helps them build their confidence. And then that makes them have even more dedication and skin in the game. And right there, you get that combination, you don't have to worry about participation. It's going to be there.
Great. I'd like to say in my closing remarks too. Good point there, Catherine and everyone there. Let's take this panel just for example real quick. Look at this. This is great illustration of what we're talking about this morning. There's not a one on this panel here that's in competition with, we're not in competition with each other here. We've come together on a common ground to discuss a good book. And I'm looking forward to the next book because that happens to me a lot. So that's gonna be rather interesting. So that's my closing remarks. I've totally enjoyed this today. But look at this panel, good illustration of what we're talking about today. And thanks, Jason. He has definitely rose to the occasion. He's inspired me today. Thanks, Jason. Give it up to him.
Thank you so much, Donna. I could not have done it without all of you. Really appreciate it. Is there who else has some final thoughts before we end the hangout?
Yeah, I'll jump out. As far as finding common ground, every one of us on this call are in different parts of the United States. And what are the chances that any of us would have ever met each other, outside of what we're doing here? So it is that commonality that we have, seeking ideals, seeking truth, seeking growth, all the different things that that each one of us in our own part of the world is seeking for, and for whatever reason we've all been drawn together here on this hangout, I just thoroughly enjoy this, so anyway, I appreciate each one of you and count you all as friends, and I just appreciate each one of you. I'll leave it at that.
I want to hear from Sandy. I love it when Sandy gets on too. I love y'all. And yeah, I agree with you too, Dan. What are the chances of us all meeting one another? And I really think that's a cool thing to illustrate to anybody watching today. Look at how we do this. This is an example of if you're struggling in an area of what you can bring together. Put things out there on your social media to draw people. You'll be amazed if you put kind of ideas or questions out there on your page with a colorful picture or something. The responses you get, it'll just make you smile. That's my thoughts.
yeah, put yourself out there and ask those questions, and don't have an agenda other than just wanting to get to know people, and see how that goes, and see how what comes out of that. I think out of this chapter, what I've gotten the most is that common ground is really closer than we might imagine. Um, you know, we may have grown up thinking that when people come to us and start asking us questions, that they have some agenda that they're all in mind, that they're already trying to steer us towards. But that's not always the case, and we should be able to switch gears and open up into that conversation and just enjoy getting to know each other, and because we never know what might come out of it. My life has been really impacted so greatly by knowing every one of you on the panel here, and I just want to do a quick shout out to all of you. You're so really wonderful, and I appreciate all your thoughts and all the help that you've given. Like Donna was saying, we're not in competition with each other. We're all coming together to learn and develop our success habits and our leadership capabilities. And I want to do a special thanks to Danielle. She actually a little while back got on Hangouts with me and taught me how to start a Hangout myself, and to do some videos, and no ulterior motives, just a giving, genuine person. And by doing that, she explained how she's getting the feedback and attracting the people that in her life that are already either in alignment with what she's doing, or have some common grounds. And so wow, I mean, really, there's a lot of potential out there if we just open ourselves up to it. Sandy, did you have some final thoughts you wanted to?
Y'all are forcing me out? No. I'm quiet today. I'm in a quiet mode. But yeah, when you were speaking about posting, and I find that when I am posting and genuine, and even if it's talking about a struggle I've overcame or something, people come and they interact, or pretty flowers, whatever it is, whether it's positive or whatever, as long as you're putting it out there in a good way, not as like a whiny, my life is horrible kind of way. But people attach to that, or they resonate with that, and they'll remember you down the road. I have people come out sometimes, they'll see a post that I posted about a business I'm in, and I had no idea they were still following me. Maybe I talked to them a year ago, and they're like, "Oh, what is this you're doing?" Because they remembered how I interact with them through social media, and it made me think of this quote when you were talking, Danielle, about from Maya Angelou. I forget exactly how it goes. It's not how you act or think, but it's how you make people remember how you make them feel. They don't remember your actions or what you say particularly, but they always remember how you make them feel. So you want to always focus on how are you making others feel in their interactions. That's what we remember. And when I think about leaders that I connected to, it's the way they made me feel that makes me connect to them. So really, how do you want to make others feel? And that's how they're going to be drawn to you, not by necessarily what you're saying or how you're saying it, but that feeling that you're giving them of they're important, they're the same as you, or they can do what you do, and you can show them the way. And so that's that for my ending of the day. Good to be here, and thanks, Jason, for hosting. You did a great job.
Oh, that's awesome, Sandy. Thank you, everyone, for your help. And with that, I'd like to discuss the new book that we're going to be starting here on June 6th. Who has some working knowledge on that book that you'd like to share? Okay, Dan, would you like to go first?
Oh yeah, I've actually read the book a couple of times, but it's really it's a book that you could just kind of stay in. I have what I call bathroom books, Psycho-Cybernetics or Think and Grow Rich. These are books that, I mean, hey, let's face it, we all got to spend a little bit of time in a certain room every day, and there's no sense in just staring at the wall. You might as well be improving your brain, right? And so from my perspective, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself is one of those types of books where it really teaches you such a it's just a profound truth of life, and it's it's a real personal thing for you, but it affects everything that you do in life, and it teaches you the conversations that you have, and one of the things that I learned really early on, and I learned it in the first company that I was ever in, and that is revolves around language. It revolves around the words that you speak, and primarily the words that you speak to yourself, and the importance of those words. And so, if you have a good computer program, then your computer's going to run well, and it's the same thing with the program that we program ourselves with. Are you looking down at the ground kicking dirt, and being down on yourself, and saying things out loud to yourself that actually program you for bad things? Or are you using your language and using the words that you speak as seeds, and using them as good seeds to program the way that you think that hey, I may have screwed up here, but that's just one instance. That don't mean that I'm a screw up. I just screwed up this one thing. I made a mistake. Okay, let's get over it. Let's move on. Versus I'm a failure. And the words that the words that you speak to yourself are seeds. You plant them. You plant them. You take the time to think, which so few people actually do, to think about what you're going to say, and never finish a negative statement about yourself. So really, it's a fantastic book, and I think all of you are going to really enjoy it. It'll be an eye opener for you. So that's it.
Yeah, this book has been exceptional when I came across it as well, backing up down on that. And a lot of times we don't understand why we talk to ourselves the way that we do. And this book really opens your mind to the reasons that we may do that. I don't know if I'm maybe be a little frozen here. And I brought the book out, and just to kind of show you how impactful the book has been. My orange marks kind of do the talking for me about how big this book is to me. And this is an excellent book to not only help yourself, but to understand others. It's kind of a good piggyback to where we've been with this, with Winning Friends and Influencing People, because once you understand the programming that exists not only in yourself but in others, you can do so much better. And on the back, one of the comments on here that Dr. Helmstetter mentioned is, I focus my attention on the things I can control. If I can't affect it or direct it, I accept it. I know what I believe about myself is what I will become, so I believe in the best for myself. So again, this is going to be an excellent, excellent book for us to go over.
Wow, that does sound powerful. My goodness. And again, the name of that book is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, and I just put a link where everyone can, if they'd like, to purchase that through Amazon, and some of the proceeds of that will go to support the Saturday Morning Mastermind Collective. So we do appreciate that. Who else has some thoughts on this new book? It's going to be exciting, and we're starting that June 6th. Who else has some thoughts on that?
I just can't wait to get Danielle going on this new book. That's what I can have a notepad and a pen ready and writing down all kinds of good nuggets, because I can already tell she's ready to go.
Most definitely. I'm excited for this book too, and I picked it up on Kindle. It's available. I think you said, Christina, it's not available on audio, unfortunately, but in the future I think we'll try to pick books that are available in every form. But this one's a good book, and we're going to go with this one for now. But just a last point I want to make, just be sure, as you're, social media is a great place to reach out and touch people and find common ground, but just don't how do I want to say this?
I,
Be yourself, okay? When you're trying to find common ground with people, make sure that the stuff that in other words, don't just go out and find a post that has 14,000 shares and decide that has to go on your page. If it's something you have no interest in, you see what I'm saying? You have to be yourself, share your interests, share your, your daily things, what's going on with you, things that you like. That way, as the people come in that are attracted to that, then you'll find that common ground with those people. Whereas if you just put that post up for 14,000 likes and it's about something that you could care less about, you're attracting people that you're not going to have as much common ground with. So I guess what I'm trying to say is make sure you're building something that you want to be a part of, because you can put a lot of work in building something and all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, I don't even want to do that, or I don't like that or something. So just really be yourself, and it'll be a much funner trip. Thank you so much for joining us for this book. Have a wonderful little break here, and I can't wait to see you guys in a few weeks.
That's great. I'm going to miss you guys for 2 weeks. I'm sure we'll keep in touch, though, through the message chats, though. And I want to encourage everyone to, even though we're not going to be on for 2 weeks, go ahead to our event page and comment. Let us know when you get the book, if you order it through Amazon. And I think Sandy was saying it only takes about maybe a week or so to get. So go ahead and order that as soon as you can, and so you can follow along with us. And if you want to participate in other ways, please let us know. I really appreciate all the comments. And I wanted to say it was, I think it was a quick, Karen Loahoff. Thanks for your comment there. And she wanted to thank Danielle for sharing the form. And she said she tried to figure out for 3 weeks what each letter stood for. And I'm with you there, Karen. I've mixed up those letters a number of times. So yeah, thank you, Danielle, for doing that, and thank you everyone for coming out. And with that, we're a little bit over the time, but it's been a great discussion. Again, thank you so much for the honor of being able to guest host today. And I hope every one of you have a terrific Saturday afternoon and a wonderful weekend. So with that, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.